All right, so a few months ago, I read this book called Mastery by Robert Greene. I'm sure there's a lot of you who've heard of Robert Greene. He's like mainly known for the 48 Laws of Power, but he has this other book called Mastery, and it's basically a whole bunch of examples of people who are masters at their craft from all different industries. So yeah, he explains the journey that these people go through to become a master in their craft. And one of the things that is pointed out in this book that is required to become a master and is obsession. You need to be fully obsessed with whatever it is that you're doing if you really want to become a true master or a true exception at whatever it is you're doing. So I read that in January and February of 2024. And basically, I just took all that I could from that book and I implemented it into my own life and towards my own skills that I want to become a master at. And the main one you could probably guess being trading. One of my main takeaways from this book was you have to be completely consumed in whatever it is that you're doing if you want to become a master at it. Because all of these people, it went from the Wright brothers to scientists, all types of people, businessmen. You basically learn that every single person that became a master, every single person that became great at what they did, they were completely consumed by whatever it is they were doing. So I read this book with the intention of taking whatever I learned from it and implementing it into my own life and into my trading. That basically boiled down to becoming obsessed with what I was doing and obsessed with the work and not the results. Obviously, we trade to get results. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about the results, but I'm saying whenever you obsess over the things that get you the results, that's what's going to make you the best at whatever it is. But yeah, after I read that book, that's when I started recording my screens. That's when I started taking screenshots and writing on the screenshots, taking notes, and paying very close attention to my losses and the journaling, and basically just becoming completely obsessed with everything that I could that was going to make me better at trading. And I wasn't going into the whole thing with the expectation to be the best in a few months or even a few years. All of these people in this book, their journey takes a long time. And that's just something you're going to have to accept. That's going to be the case no matter what industry you choose to pursue. But it just seems like a lot of people, they come into trading because you see people on, the internet, on TikTok, on YouTube, make a lot of money in a little bit of time trading. And obviously, everybody wants that. So that's what makes them gravitate towards the industry. And the reality is, 90% or more people don't make it in this industry. That's probably the truth for most industries. Trading is just one of those things that attracts the people who are really trying to do shit like quickly overnight. And that's fine if you're a person like that. But I think what happens is it attracts a lot of people who don't devote the correct amount of effort and time to the craft. And they might trade one strategy for a month or two and then switch to a new one. And then they keep switching and they don't find success. And then they say it's not possible. And they wonder why they can't do it and other people can. But I mean, there are plenty of people who do this every day that are very successful. And everyone that I've found to be successful on the internet, they have put in years of work and years of obsessing over what they're doing. But yeah, I think that trading is one of those industries. But yeah, I think that trading is one of those industries that even just to make it, you have to be obsessive. You cannot half-ass any of it. You can't, well, I guess you can half-ass it, but don't be surprised if it takes you a lot more time to figure things out than it would if you were to actually obsess over it. And you could say that about any industry, but I can just speak from personal experience that in the beginning of my trading, the first 2 months, I was not documenting properly. I was definitely not recording my screens, and I was learning from my losses, but I wasn't tallying things up and I wasn't separating things on why I lost. I kind of would just take it trade by trade and learn trade by trade. And that's probably why I made a lot of the same mistakes over and over again. But as soon as I started screenshotting, screen recording, proper documentation, like I feel like the progression just came to me so much clearer and it was just so much faster. And like, I'm not saying I'm perfect now because I'm not. And if you're new here, all I'm doing is documenting my journey on YouTube and TikTok. And you can see that I've made progress in since May. I've made a lot of progress. Before May of this year, I was not as obsessive about the whole thing as I am now. And my P&L can definitely reflect that. So if anyone is watching this and you're new to trading, or you're trading and you're kind of just going through the motions and it's like something that you want to be able to make it work, but you are kind of one of those people who just doesn't review, doesn't document properly, I'm telling you, you can make it so much easier on yourself and quicker if you would just put in the time and the effort, document things properly, actually review. And when you review, not just like going through the motions, like really trying to understand and learn and look for things in the present moment on how you can get better. And then you take notes on those things and you are mindful about them in the future and you could correct your mistakes that you make. And I just feel like, people say it takes ranges all different times on how long you will go from unprofitable to profitable. I've seen people say you can do it in months. I've seen people say that it takes 2 years at least. But the reality is, it only takes as long as it takes you to figure out what your mistakes are, correct them, and figure out what works for you and keep doing that. And then on top of those, being completely present and mindful for the trading sessions that are coming ahead of you and being able to execute properly and recognize when you are prone to making certain mistakes and moving on like that. That is when I think you become profitable. And some people, they can do that very quickly. Some people, they can't do that as quickly because they either don't have the time or they don't spend the time on that. So I think that the time it takes to become profitable is very subjective to your actions and what you're really doing with your own time. But yeah, the whole point of this video is to say that obsessing is a requirement to succeed. And I think that your degree of obsessiveness will determine how long it takes for you to become profitable. And like, I'm saying this as someone who's had a few profitable months. I've just passed a funded account and I'm working on my first payout. So like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means, but I've absolutely seen a lot of progress since May, and it's all documented for you to see on my YouTube channel. So check that out if you're interested in it. But yeah, that'll be it for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.